Cuyahoga County Council meeting for Wednesday, March the 27th, 2013. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll? Some of us have been here since 9 o'clock this morning in the same room, so it's been a long day.
The roll, Mr. Rogers. Here. Ms. Simon. Here. Mr. Greenspan. Here. Mr. Miller. Here. Mr. Brady. Here. Mr. Germana.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron. Here. Ms. Conwell. Here. Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Conley. Here. There is a quorum.
Yep. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For our moment of silence this evening, I'd like to reflect on this holiday season for all faith. Item 5 on the agenda, public comment related to the agenda. Has anyone signed in for public comment?
Madam Chair, no one has signed in to speak.
Thank you. Item 6, approval of the minutes. The minutes for the work session for March the 12th, 2010 are in your minutes on page 10. The regular meeting for March the 12th on page 12, and the committee of the whole on page 26 for March the 19th, 2013. If everyone has had an opportunity to review those minutes, I'll entertain a motion to adopt them as circulated.
So move.
Second. Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are adopted. I'd like to have a motion to amend the agenda. We'll be adding item R 2013-0054 after item 17D. This is a walk-on item pursuant to Rule 6 of the Rules of Council.
Madam President, I would move to add to the agenda after 17D on the agenda, Resolution 2013-0054.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germana. Any discussion on this? This is an item of some importance, and we'll hear about it in just a few minutes, that we need to pass. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. The agenda is so amended. I only have one brief comment that we did have our public records training seminar this morning from 9 to 12. It was very informative. It was free and open to the public. It was 3 hours of continuing legal educations for lawyers. And we offer this twice a year. And so we appreciate the people from the Attorney General's office for presenting that. And we make it available twice a year for anyone who would like to participate. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Two things I just want to mention. One is, along with Ed Jurst, I went to Washington, D.C. Last week and try to represent some of the issues that we're particularly concerned about with our congressional delegation, and those meetings went well. Particularly, we are concerned about the sequestration and effects of the sequestration, and then also some other issues, everything from social services to some of the infrastructure spending that we're hopeful to get the federal government to take their traditional role in. Speaking of sequestration, we had a press conference today that you may have seen coverage of, but I just wanted to mention it briefly this evening, and that has to do with the Cuyahoga County Airport in Richmond Heights, which would be of concern to all of us. And I just want to underline its importance again. There's over 50 businesses that either directly work out of that location or basically immediately adjacent to it. There are over 2,000 employees whose jobs are linked to it and $150 million worth of payroll. The FAA's decision to cancel the contracts that provides for the air traffic controllers out of that location, I think is just indefensible. It's a poor decision. It's actually a substitute for thinking and analysis. It doesn't make any economic sense and doesn't make any public safety sense. we stated when we first heard that this reduction was going to be made as a result of the sequester, I asked my law director if there was any, if we had any options to try to fight this decision. We also, of course, talked to our congressional delegation. They've been fighting hard to try to get the FAA to take a more reasoned approach in terms of where they're making reductions. They have made a kind of a bright line test that if something doesn't affect national security, basically, in other words, if there aren't military operations going out of an airport, then they're going to lose their air traffic controllers. We disagree with that. But I have to give credit to Law Director McCloof because he was in contact with various attorneys representing smaller airports across the country. There are 2 other airports that were, or airport authorities that were filing some types of legal action in the District of Columbia. One was in Bloomington, Illinois, and the other one was out in Spokane, Washington. Basically, it is an administrative appeal to under the Code of Federal Regulations regarding the FAA's action. I won't go into all the details about it. Director McCloof can provide a briefing or background materials for you if you're interested, but basically it boils down to this. Before a federal agency makes a decision of that import, they're generally governed by CFR, Code of Federal Regulations requirements that mandate that they go through a certain process, especially if it is going to affect environmental concerns or public safety concerns. And in this case, before the FAA is supposed to make a decision on issues that are of that level of importance, they are supposed to do basically an impact assessment. How is this going to affect public safety? What is the cost-benefit analysis to what we're cutting versus what benefit we're getting out of this? Does it affect the environment? Now, it may sound strange to say it affects the environment, but you can't separate the aviation from the environment because there's effects on noise pollution and on the physical environment, and some of those planes have to land somewhere if they don't end up landing at the Richmond Heights Airport. We don't think they followed their own regulations. There is a process that is supposed to be followed under the CFR, and we don't think that they did that. So we ended up filing an emergency appeal to have a stay of this decision. And we're not the only community that's doing it. I think we're the only community in Ohio that's doing it. Now, it doesn't mean that the airport is going to shut down when this decision is implemented at the beginning of May. And that's the time period that we're talking about, by the way, before the Richmond Heights Airport would actually be affected by this particular cut. Doesn't mean the airport is going to be shut down then, but it means a couple things. Number one is it makes that airport less competitive because the businesses operating out of there, the aviation businesses out of there, are now at a competitive disadvantage compared to other airports that do have live controllers on site that are directing takeoffs and landing. Secondly, the practical effect is going to be that flights are going to be landing at the Richmond Heights Cuyahoga County Airport, and they are going to be directed by air traffic controllers in Hopkins. Now, even on a clear day, you cannot see the Richmond Heights landing strip. And as those of us who actually live in Ohio know, there are 2 quite distinct weather patterns on the western side of Cuyahoga County and the eastern side of Cuyahoga County. So although it may look free and clear on one side, the fact of the matter is, not to make light of it, they will not be able to make actual observations as to ground conditions. Even if they can monitor the traffic of whether or not there's a conflict in terms of a plane taking off or landing or taxiing, they cannot make firsthand observations. You can do that under the law, but it is not advisable. And it is certainly not ideal for the businesses operating out of there. This is moving very, very quickly. We filed this action today, right, Majid? It was filed today, and we will continue to bring you up to speed as things unfold, but they're going to be moving very, very quickly, I think. One other thing, this was a question that came up at the press conference that some people might be asking, or this might be on your mind. Some counties and cities and airport authorities have said, well, if the FAA is not going to provide for these services, let's just pay for that ourselves. Well, I was asked that question at the press conference today, and my response to that would be, this is supposed to be a service that is provided by the FAA. That's why it's called the Federal Aviation Administration. Aviation is not something that is strictly a matter of local concern. This is not something where all of a sudden we're getting federal funding. And I didn't think that we should be the default provider of all these services that the federal government has traditionally provided, especially when they're not keeping their commitments that they've already made to us, and because they're not following their own procedures. So I didn't want to default to the position of saying, oh, okay, if the federal government wants to walk away from its commitment in this area, then we'll just pick up the tab. I thought we should try to hold them accountable as much as we possibly could. Now, if we fail in this action and we have to look at other options, then so be it. But I don't think we're there yet. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on that. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you. I also neglected to mention that there will be an executive session, so item 15 will be moved to the end of the agenda. And also, item 8A, contracts executed by the county executive are provided in the packet on page 29. Item 9, consideration of a motion of council for first reading adoption under suspension of the rules. We need a motion pursuant to 9D and 12A to suspend the rules. This is a matter that Ms. Conwell will explain. Mr. Gallagher?
Madam President, I would move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germain. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0013.
Motion number 2013-0013, a motion appointing Robert G. Abrams to serve on a Board of Revision for Cuyahoga County and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
Yes, Madam
You want
Chair.
to make a motion, Ms. Conwell, first?
Motion to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Conwell, seconded by Mr. Germana. Go ahead, Ms. Conwell.
Yes, Section 6.02 of the Charter of Cuyahoga County states that there shall be one or more boards of revision, each consisting of 3 electors of the county. Mr. Doug Cooper, a member of the Board of Revision appointed by council, will vacate his position prior to the expiration of his term, effective March 29th. And Mr. Robert G. Abrams has met the requirements for hiring and is available to start on 4/1/13. So, Madam President, this committee recommends Mr. Abrams for appointment to serve on the Board of Revision.
So he went through the process when you were scanning other applicants, and it's within 6 months, as I understand. And we were told by Human Resources it was appropriate that we could take the next person on the list.
Right.
Okay. All right, any questions?
There's no rule of thumb with the 6 months.
Oh, okay, all right. But he was the next person on the list, and he was available. All right. Any questions? All right, all those in favor of adoption of 0013 for the appointment of Mr. Abrams to the Board of Revision indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, is Mr. Abrams here? Or congratulations. All right, item 10, consideration of a motion of council for first reading and referral to committee.
Motion number 2013-0014, a motion confirming the county executive's reappointment of Alexandra Turk to serve on the Cuyahoga County Community-Based Correctional Facility Governing Board and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
And that will go to Human Resources.
Motion number 2013-0015, a motion confirming the county executive's reappointment of Kathleen K. Palmer to serve on the Cuyahoga County Human Resource Commission and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
That also will go to Human Resources. Item 11, committee reports and consideration of motions of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. These matters have been to committee, and we need a motion to suspend Rule 90 to waive the third reading. Mr. Gallagher?
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germain. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 0007.
Motion number 2013-0017, a motion appointing Tracy A. Jemison II to serve on the Cuyahoga County Soldiers and Sailors Monument Board of Trustees and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Rogers. Do you want to be heard on this, Ms. Conwell?
Yes, Madam Chair. The Soldiers and Sailors Board of Trustees works with staff and administration to raise the awareness of the organization and its mission. Members support programs and events, help build partnerships, and improve important initiatives, as well as maintaining the monument of Cuyahoga County. Cuyahoga County Council is the taxing authority and appoints members to this board. Mr. Tracy A. Jemison came forth to serve on this board and would like to offer his expertise and assist in carrying out the mission of this board. Madam President, so this committee recommends to the Council of the Whole that Mr. Jemison serve on the Soldiers and Sailors Board.
All right, any questions, discussions? All right, all's in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations to Mr. Jemison. Is he here? All right, item 0008.
Motion number 2013-0008, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Public Library Board of Trustees and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective for the individuals as printed on the agenda, item 11A, B1 and 2.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Rogers. Do you want to be heard on this, Ms. Conwell?
Madam Chair, these trustees are authorized by the State of Ohio to establish policies and develop an annual budget. While board members represent the citizens' interests, promoting the highest level of library service appropriate to the communities in accordance with state law. And Cuyahoga County appoints 4 members to this board. So, Madam President, this committee recommends Mrs. Patricia Shalonsky and Mr. Edward Blakemore for confirmation.
And these new appointments or reappointments?
Both of them are new. Mr. Blakemore already served on there, but he's a new appointment for us.
All right, but he's been on the board and Ms. Shalonsky is new. Okay. All right, any questions or comments? Do you want to be heard?
I wasn't sure, did we move? So I just want to say that with regard to one of the nominees, Edward Blakemore, that although I think he's qualified and a huge asset to the board, and especially in the capacity of a volunteer, this takes a lot of work and time. And as Councilman Germain has said in committee, it's often a thankless job. However, as a representative of District 11, specifically South Euclid and Lyndhurst, as a representative of that community, there's many community members who are not happy with the way in which the library, South Euclid Lyndhurst Library Branch, it has been designated to move to a new site. So with that in mind, I will not be voting for Mr. Blakemore's appointment, and I'm not sure if I need to, are we going to take these individually? I'm assuming we are. So I just wanted to make a statement, although I think he's qualified, I have to be in a position to represent and be the voice of the community that I serve. So
It's only one motion, and I don't know that we can bifurcate them. Mr. McClure says we have to do it as a whole, so
that's, I'm going to leave that up to this body. If they want to go through the process, I can move to bifurcate if it's as simple as that, and if I had a second, we could do that. But it's up to the president.
it's up to you if you want to make a motion, then you can make a motion. Or I was just, is it possible to bifurcate? I was not aware of the fact it was possible to bifurcate. 'Cause
The problem is the motion is drafted, both of them together to bifurcate. I mean, that hasn't been our practice. Normally, you do 2 separate motions. But I'd prefer it to stay as a single motion. I mean, just because that's always been the practice under our rules, that's the way.
Okay. Thanks, Madam President, for checking. So with my regards to Patricia Shalonsky, I duly support her appointment, but we'll be voting no for this particular.
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Miller.
it would seem, well, I for one think it could be bifurcated, but assuming that it can't be, there could be a motion offered to amend by removing the name of Mr. Blakemore, and this would give you a chance to vote on that question separately.
I'm willing to do that if the president's willing to do that.
Make your motion.
So I'm going to move to amend 2013-0008 to remove Mr. Blakemore from this motion. But can we come back later to, we need a way for him to be voted on?
We'd have to vote for him separately.
And we can do that as part of this motion? So part of the motion is to separate out
That's what I'm saying. You
Okay.
need then new legislation for Mr. Blakemore. if we were
Yeah,
to
we would need more, yeah, so, what,
Go with my vote as it stands.
all right, any other discussion?
Madam President?
Yes.
At the committee meeting, Mr. Blakemore did painstakingly go through the situation out in South Euclid. And as we all know, in positions like ours, you're going to make unpopular decisions. And he went through that top to bottom. And I'm very satisfied, as you are, Councilwoman, with his qualifications. And just want to make that clear that this was discussed in the committee.
All right, let's call for a vote. All those in favor of the adoption of 0008 with the appointment of Patricia Schlansky and Edward Blakemore indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Mark, Ms. Simon is nay. All right, congratulations to Ms. Schlansky and Mr. Blakemore. All right, item 0009. Okay.
Okay. Motion number 2013-0009, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of Francis X. Bova upon his taking the oath of office as the sheriff of Cuyahoga County and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
So moved.
Who moved? Mr. Greenspan, and who seconded? Mr. Gallagher. All right, any discussion? All those in favor of the confirmation of Francis X. Bova as Sheriff of Cuyahoga County indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Bova. And you're going to do the swearing in now?
Raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Frank Bova,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the United States,
I will support and uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
and the Charter of Cuyahoga County.
and the Charter of Cuyahoga County.
I will administer justice
I will administer justice
without respect to persons
without respect to persons,
and will faithfully and
He wants to.
impartially
will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all of the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as Sheriff of the County of Cuyahoga,
as the Sheriff of Cuyahoga County,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And Sheriff Bova, if you'd like to introduce your family to us?
My wife Andy. My daughter Mary. My son Joe. My brother Phil and my brother Pat. And the rest of the family, obviously.
And is your son going to be a police officer?
Hopefully.
Okay. Oh, your daughter also, I'm sorry, your daughter also. She said no.
choice.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, and you'll be getting phone calls from us, 2 o'clock in the morning. So. All right, congratulations again. Item 0010.
Motion number 2013-0010, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of Mark A. Parks, Jr. upon his taking the oath of office as the treasurer of Cuyahoga County and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion? I'd like to recognize Mir Mulcahy from Orange, where Mr. Parks comes from, hails from, and he has served on the council in Orange, and we anticipate that he will be resigning from that office so that he can officially take this position. All right, any other discussion or comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Parks. Now, Mr. Parks, I had, before the meeting started, had an opportunity to meet the lady who says that she is your one wife. He had a slip of the tongue in the meeting. He said wife, so we're glad to find that he only has one wife.
Glad we were able to clarify that.
Okay.
Come up with the interview process. Raise your right hand, please. I state your name. I, Mark Parks. Do solemnly swear. That I will support and uphold the Constitution of the United States. That I will support and uphold the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio. The Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio. And the Charter of Cuyahoga County. And the Charter of Cuyahoga County. That I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially. That I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially. Discharge and perform. Discharge and perform. All of the duties incumbent upon me. All of the duties incumbent upon me. As treasurer. As treasurer. In and for the county of Cuyahoga. In and for the county of Cuyahoga. State of Ohio. State of Ohio. According to the best of my ability and understanding. According to the best of my ability and understanding. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
And Mr. Parks, would you like to introduce your family also?
This is my wife, Bonnie.
One wife.
One wife.
And this is my sister, Denise.
Hi.
And that's her friend, Denise, and of course, Mother Mary,
Okay.
our great staff.
All right, thank you very much. And item 0011.
Motion number 2013-0011, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of Andrea F. Rocco Esquire upon her taking the oath of office as the Clerk of Courts of Cuyahoga County and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germana. All right, any discussion on this appointment? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Rocco, and if you'd like to come up.
Raise your right hand, please. I
think so.
state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support and uphold the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio. And the Charter of Cuyahoga County. That I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially. Discharge and perform. All of the duties incumbent upon me. As Clerk of the Court of Common Pleas. In and for the county of Cuyahoga. State of Ohio. According to the best of my ability and understanding. So help me God. Congratulations.
And it's our understanding that Ms. Rocco will be resigning her position as prosecutor in the city of Westlake, and she will be our first female clerk of courts in Cuyahoga County. Right? And I assume that you want to introduce your family.
Yes.
My husband, Phil.
I was one of
and
I was
Debbie,
too.
And my mom, Elaine, my
Figures.
Aunt Kat, who is like a sister to me, and my two children, Jake and Isabel.
Yes.
If I could just say, first of all, I appreciate the council's consideration of these nominees, but as you mentioned, not only is Ms. Rocco, I think, the first woman to serve as clerk of courts, I think Mr. Parks is the first African-American that we've ever had to serve as treasurer in Cuyahoga County, and I think Mr. Bova is the first Bova to ever be.
Well, he's the first ex, anyway.
The first Eagle from St. Edward High School. Oh, the haters hate.
All All right, thank you. All right, moving right along. Item 12, consideration of a resolution of council for first reading adoption under suspension of the rules. This has not been to committee and will not have 3 readings, but we'll explain. So, Mr. Gallagher, you want to make a motion?
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to suspend the rules. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the rules are suspended. Item 0056.
Resolution number 2013-0056, a resolution supporting a partnership between Cuyahoga County Council and Cleveland State University in the design and establishment of a civic training program for elected and appointed public officials in Cuyahoga County, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
To adopt?
Moved by Mr. Greenspan and seconded by Mr. Miller. Mr. Greenspan.
Thank you, Madam President. This has been a project that I've been working on. It's been in my board, my office for 2 years, effectively since we took office. This is actually a very good partnership with a number of organizations within the county, not only a partnership with Cleveland State, but the program itself is being underwritten by the Greater Cleveland Partnership and the Cleveland Foundation, and has the support of Northeast Ohio City Council Association, as well as Mayor Wheelow as president of the Mayors and Managers Association. And what the purpose here, and Dr. Hill will give a presentation as to the program, is to help our elected officials upon their taking office, provide them with the fundamental framework of the duties and responsibilities to which they've been elected, and also for this to serve as an initial program on a going forward basis to provide continuing educational opportunities in municipal matters for our elected officials. So with that, but before I introduce Dr. Hill, I'd like to thank Khalil Sarin and Rob Zile, who have been really working hard and carrying a lot of the water on this to bring it to where we are today. So I'll turn over to Dr. Hill, Madam President, if that's okay.
All right, come on, Dr. Hill. This is Dr. Ned Hill, the Dean of the Levin College of Urban Affairs, which is a nationally recognized program in urban affairs studies.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate those kind words. And the college and Cleveland State University, both thanks Dave Greenspan for reaching out to us, and we honor and appreciate the partnership we've had with the entire council since the start of new county government in Cuyahoga County. We know that one of the largest challenges of running a democracy is the training and the abilities of people who are elected to office. Nothing is probably, as someone who volunteered on a city planning commission 30 years ago, even though I had my master's degree, the notion of the practical training of actually becoming an effective member of local government was something that escaped my training. And as everyone on this board started in the same position, understanding the way in which local government works, issues of ethics and responsibility are vitally important. For the college itself, the Leadership Academy is celebrating its 20th years. We have many graduates of the academy here. Rob shows up. It's like old home week, so I'm glad to see that we have an Alumni Society of Vikings down here, so Eagles and Vikings can play well together, Mr. Councilman. It's important to say that. But this also marks a departure for the college. The college has done long-term training. We haven't done short course training, and with Councilperson Greenspan's encouragement, we've really been looking very closely at the Carl Vinson Institute at the University of Georgia as a model. So we believe that this is the start of what's going to roll out over the next year and a half of a series of short course training for public officials throughout the county in Northeast Ohio. As the Council President noted, we are pleased to note that U.S. News and World Reports last week released its graduate school rankings, and once again, we're ranked number 2 in the nation for our graduate specialty in city management and urban policy. We're on 15 years of being in second place, so someday the University of Kansas will figure out we're really better than them, but what the hell, we'll keep on plugging. And this actually is a launching point for our professional development. The program is a one-day training program intended to equip local elected officials with the general tools of for organizing their jobs, starting their works. We're going to provide relevant practical knowledge on a variety of topics, which I'll outline in a second. And the other thing which is really important is that as a county, we're finding it's more and more important for local officials to understand and network across the entire county. And building those sets of relationships is important. And again, this is going to be a launching point for the college. Now, the broad areas that we're covering is ethics integrity will be covered in depth. That's something that Professor Vera Vogelsang Coombs has a passion for. Government's roles and responsibilities and understanding the system of government. Robert's Rules of Order, another way of holding and executing a meeting is there. Issues of public transparency, communications, and the safety hatch of crisis communications will be covered. Then an introduction to public finance and economic development and workforce development will be part of it. The line of topics was selected with the county charter in mind. That's the reason for the emphasis on economic and workforce development. And the college as a whole, and I believe most elected officials understand that the issue for the next 10 years that's going to dominate all of local government is going to be finance. And that is how we put together the curriculum itself. As Councilperson Greenspan noted, funding is provided by the Cleveland Foundation, the Greater Cleveland Partnership. As we do continuing training in the future, it's going to become self-supporting, but it was a vote on the part of these two organizations how important they really thought a trained and effective local government is, that they're supporting it. And in terms of our partners, the partnership with the council for us is very important. Northeast Ohio City Council Association has been very enthusiastic, and Cuyahoga County Mayors and Managers Association is endorsing, and of course we acknowledge Georgine Wheelo for everything she's done for us in making this possible. So at that point, I'm open to questions, comments, or I could sit down and get on with your meeting.
Any questions?
Well, Madam President, let me just add further to Dr. Hill's comments. The reason for the first reading suspension is the program is slated to begin May 18th. So we felt it'd be appropriate to be able to give enough time for the communities to identify their delegates. We're going to ask, and this was a departure today, we discussed, and originally we were going to ask one representative, elected representative, from each of the 59 communities to participate. We've expanded that to 2. So we'd like ample opportunity to send the invitations out and do the necessary work that needs to be done in order to coordinate the program itself. I noted, and it was noted in here, that I don't see anybody from the Cleveland Foundation, but Marty McGann from GCP is here. I don't know if Mr. McGann wanted to make any comments.
Yeah, we've been here since 9 o'clock this morning, so.
Hit the button.
Marty McGann from the Greater Cleveland Partnership. Thanks for just a brief minute. Working with Dr. Hill and others, we had a robust discussion of our members and thought that this is something we should be very well engaged in. It's also consistent with work we've done with other metro chambers from across the state in forming a report entitled Redesigning Ohio, Transforming Government into a 21st Century Organization. So we see local government as a key issue that our private economic development organization should be working on. So thank you very much.
And I thank Mr. Greenspan for initiating this project. It's going to be, I'm really very enthusiastic about it. Thank you, Dr. Yes.
Yeah. One of the conversations we had with Mr. Greenspan a while ago on the same subject was the school boards, which seemed to me would be a good candidate also because the same subject, other than the economic development component, is going to be a key to each one of those, the finance, how to conduct a public meeting, the sunshine issues, and all of those. Would it be possible to throw the invitation out, with the exception of the economic development, all 4 of those items, the other 4 items would seem to me to be on the forefront of their agendas too, and they've got the same finance problems going forward.
Councilperson Schron, it probably makes sense that be a follow-up session. We actually have funding so that we can put 100 people into the program. Each mayor and council president is going to be asked to nominate 1 person. For the school boards, that's something that we could clearly follow up on, and I agree with the fact that this is a market that makes a lot of sense.
All right, thank you. All right, all those in favor of adoption indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Yeah, yes.
I have 5 questions.
Okay. Yeah, wait.
You have to get Greenspan back.
Okay, all right.
Really, I only have 1.
Okay.
Because I know it's been a long day for some of you. Once it's determined how this program will be self-sustaining, will you make another presentation in the council?
Absolutely, and as a matter, we've talked about evaluations for this.
Right.
The reason that this program exists this year and in May is and the elected officials are asked to participate, is to take their feedback and then to take it next year when the program is offered after the municipal elections take place this November, to be able to offer the program to them in a more expanded format. So, Dr. Hill, so after we get these evaluations, maybe come back and make it.
So it's a question of evaluation. Also have to figure out what price that allows the program be self-sustaining, but make certain that the price isn't so high that it's a barrier to entry. So that's part of what we're going to be asking the class about.
Madam President, could you add my name? Thank you.
All right. Add Ms. Conwell's name.
My name too.
Rogers?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can I just make a comment?
Yeah, sure.
Since we stopped,
I'm not sure we voted. Now we have to go and vote again.
some years ago, I was encouraged by community members, and in particular one who I call my political godfather, to run for president of Parma City Council. And I was kind of like an outsider. I wasn't, in politics and so on and so forth. And at that time, there was the Ohio Municipal League gave a workbook with all these very important pointers about state law, about municipal issues, and so on. This was the Bible to me, because really, no one took me under the wing and said, hey, Germanna, we're going to help you with this. You ran, you got to learn. And so, I congratulate everybody that's involved in this, because I think this is, for newly elected officials, this is a great value. So, just my 2 cents.
All right.
Just add my name, please.
Ms. Simon
And I'd like my name added as well.
and Mr. Gallagher, and you can add mine, so just make it unanimous, Mr. Brady. All right. I don't think we call the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hill.
Dave, thank you so much for your leadership.
All right, item 13, committee reports and consideration of a resolution of council for second reading and adoption under suspension of the rule. This matter has been to committee, but we need a motion to suspend Rule 9D to suspend the third reading because it needs to be passed. Mr. Gallagher?
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germain. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0046.
Resolution number 2013-0046, a resolution amending resolution number 2012-0076, which governed the county's acceptance and use of funds from the Soldiers and Sailors Monument Support Group.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. I have an amendment to this item, and you have it on your desk. It would be to amend Section 1 to add the words, "or pursuant to a court order in favor of an objecting donor," after the words "meritorious." Mr. Ted Prossi is here, who is chairman of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, and he can give an explanation for this. Now, for all of you all who bashed me when I came back talking about the marvelous trip I had to the home of President Rutherford B. Hayes, and looking at his toilet and in the closets and in the attics, Mr. Prossi was there with me, so I'm not totally weird. Mr. Prossi.
Boy, there's more than one of us.
You need a second.
Oh, second. Can I get a second on the amendment?
That's what you just did.
Okay, second. Thank you, Mr. Schrein.
Thank you. Madam President, the support group itself raised a significant amount of money to support the renovations of the monument. We've had some dispute about how best to get that into the process. That's the reason for the original resolution. The support group itself, which is a private 501c3, met. The trustees asked that should there be donors who say, wait a minute, we didn't intend for those funds to go that way, that we create a process so that the funds themselves would answer to those donors. And the reason for the amendment that the President is offering is just to complete that circle. So as much as we trust and respect the Department of Law, we'd also like to make sure that there's a process should a court decide that the donor is correct and the fund should be returned. There's $211,000 plus that will come into the coffers, and we can use it at the monument to continue the job of renovation. So thank you for your consideration.
And Mr. McCoof is in agreement with this.
Yeah, and quite frankly, even if we don't put that, we would comply with a court order. I mean, so putting that language in, my position is it's already in there, even if we don't add the language, but if that would comfort the group, I'm okay with it. We're not going to violate a court order.
Okay, any other questions? Finally, we may get this money back. All right, if there's no other questions or discussion, all those in favor of oh, we got to vote on the amendment, right. All those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it, the resolution is so amended. Any discussion on the amendment, on the merit, on the resolution on the merits? All right, all those in favor of the resolutions on the merits indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Hopefully, we can get these funds finally back into the right coffers.
I think we're all on the same page.
All right, thank you very much. All right, item 14, consideration of a resolution for first reading and adoption under suspension of the rule. This is our our usual bi-monthly budget adjustments. Mr. Gallagher?
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germain. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended. Item 0057.
Resolution number 2013-0057, a resolution amending the 2012-2013 biennial operating budget for 2013 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts, and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. These items appear on page 75 of the agenda. Is there any discussion on these? Mr. Miller indicated he had reviewed them and had...
Madam President and my colleagues, these mostly deal with the appropriation of grant funds that we've received, and there's also some routine transfers within accounts, and it's there's nothing unusual here.
All right. Any question, discussion? All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 15 will be moved to the end of the agenda. Item 16, consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2013-0059, a resolution approving right-of-way plans as set forth in plat number M5012 for the grade separation of Stearns Road at the Norfolk Southern Railroad in Olmsted Township, authorizing the county executive through the Department of Public Works to acquire said necessary rights-of-way, finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0060, a resolution making an award on requisition number 23624 to Burgess and Nyepel Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $1,448,424 for engineering services for replacement of various Rockside Road bridges in the City of Independence, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter goes to Public Works. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't finish reading.
Okay. Resolution number 2013-0061, a resolution making an award on requisition number 25941 to Suburban Maintenance and Construction Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $969,000 for the Huntington Park Garage Emergency Repairs Project, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
It goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0062, a resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of Chagrin Boulevard from Lander Road to South Lane in the city of Pepper Pike and village of Moreland Hills. Total estimated construction cost $3 million. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's cost of said improvement. Authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement of cooperation with said municipalities in connection with said project, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter go to Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0063, resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of Minor Road from Wilson Mills Road to Highland Heights North Corporation Line in the city of Highland Heights. Total estimated construction cost, $1,753,490. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's cost of said improvement. Authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement of cooperation with said municipality in connection with said project and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter goes to Public Works. It's because we love you, Mr. Jones, give you something to do.
Resolution number 2013-0064, a resolution authorizing the 2013 Community Development Block Grant Municipal Grant Program in the total amount of $1,200,000, authorizing the county executive to make awards to eligible municipal applicants under said program and in accordance with the Urban County Cooperation Agreement, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreements and all other documents consistent with said awards and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to Economic Development.
Resolution number 2013-0065, a resolution accepting the final plat and dedicating Hidden Brook Lane and Grand Oaks Trail as public streets in Grand Oaks subdivision located in Olmsted Township, authorizing the county executive to execute said plat and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0066, a resolution making an award on requisition number 26531 to Motorola Solutions Incorporated in the amount of $937,286.97. Council members, I'd like to introduce just a technical amendment into the record and reading it into the record that the number of radios and chargers is 365, not 165. So continuing, for 365 Motorola APX 6000 radios and chargers for the Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, Division of Public Safety Grants, authorizing the Director of Purchasing to execute the purchase order and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Let's go to Public Safety. Item 17, committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. These matters have all been to committee and are prepared to go forward, so we need a motion to suspend Rule 9D to waive the third reading.
Madam President, I would move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germano. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0049.
Resolution number 2013-0049, a resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires replacement of Marks Road Culvert 01.03 in the city of Strongsville. Total estimated construction cost $127,000. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's cost of said improvement. Authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement of cooperation with said municipality in connection with said project and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Germano.
Madam President, this resolution and the two that follow are public convenience and welfare resolutions, which we will see contracts to complete this work later this year once we go through the public process to resurface these three roads. And I ask my colleagues to approve this first step in the process.
Thank you. Any other discussions or questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. 0050.
Resolution number 2013-0050, a resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of Crossview Road from Chestnut Road to Rockside Road in the city of Seven Hills. Total estimated construction cost $1,210,000. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's cost of said improvement. Authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement of cooperation with said municipality in connection with said project and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Germana. Any discussion? I guess Mr.
This item is part of our new pavement policy. There's a projected savings of $240,000 to the city of Seven Hills.
Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. 0051.
Resolution number 2013-0051, a resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of East Ridgewood Drive from Broadview Road to Crossview Road in the cities of Parma and Seven Hills. Total estimated construction cost $770,000. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement, authorizing the county executive to enter into agreements of cooperation with said municipalities in connection with said project, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion? This is as far as saying, I thought they'd paved every road in Parma. Now, must be going around a second time. Oh, okay.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Next one.
All right, next to Parma. All right, any other discussion?
And as you said, this was the second part to the previous item. The two projects will be coordinated.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. 0052.
Resolution number 2013-0052, a resolution making an award on requisition number 25997 to Perk Company Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $5,191,490 for repair and resurfacing of Snow Road from West 130th Street to Ridge Road in the cities of Parma and Parma Heights, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, authorizing the county engineer on behalf of the county executive to make an application for allocation from county motor vehicle $5 license tax funds in the amount of $1,038,298 to fund said contract, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Miller. Anything on this, Mr. Jones?
And this resurfacing project is much needed for this portion of Snow Road in Parma and Parma Heights, as this road hasn't been resurfaced in over 2 decades. The total not to exceed amount of $5.19 million is about $600,000 less than the engineer's estimate. The county received 6 bids, with Perk Company being the lowest and best. And since federal dollars are being used on this project, there is no SBE goal, but there is a 7% federal DBE goal, which Perk is going to meet. Construction is scheduled to begin April of this year with a projected completion date of August 2014. And again, I ask for support for this project.
Thank you. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, now, this is our add-on. Ms. Schmatzer?
Reading into the record, resolution number 2013-0054, a resolution making an award on requisition number 23384 to Cardinal Health 411 Incorporated in the amount of $2,400,000 for pharmaceutical supplies for the period April 1, 2013 through March 31, 2016. Authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Ms. Schmatzer, how is this second reading? Should we have this another place on the agenda? Because this is the first time it's come on, right?
No, we have to pass this.
This item went to committee for first reading on March 12th and just came out.
This is Sharon over here, okay. Yes.
Madam
All right,
President,
you want to move it first?
Yeah, go ahead. Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. All right.
Madam President, this was before the Safety Committee this week, and because of a paper glitch, I'm not really understanding exactly how it happened, but of human error, of which we may have been to blame. The sheriff requests that we move this forward to continue the pharmaceutical supplies to the Cuyahoga County Justice Center jail.
All right, any other questions or discussions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, back to 0055.
Resolution number 2013-0055, a resolution authorizing various revenue-generating agreements with Council for Economic Opportunities in Greater Cleveland for lease of space at various Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities Centers for operation of Head Start programs for the period March 1, 2013 through January 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreements and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the centers and in the amounts not to exceed as printed on the agenda, and it's now new item F, 1 and 2.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Brady and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. All right, any discussion on this item?
Chairperson. This resolution allows for the Board of Developmental Disabilities to lease space at 2 of its buildings for the operation of Head Start early childhood education programs for the benefit of children with developmental disabilities, like my own. And I would ask my colleagues for their support.
All right, any other questions, discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 18, consideration of an ordinance for first reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance number 2013-0010, an ordinance establishing the Cuyahoga County 911 Consolidation Shared Services Fund and Review Committee for the purpose of supporting communities in consolidating their 911 dispatch centers, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
This matter will go to public safety. Item 19, consideration of an ordinance for third reading adoption.
Ordinance number 2013-0009, an ordinance establishing the Cuyahoga County-wide preventive maintenance program and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item?
And Madam President, in summary, this ordinance creates a program that will allow the county to perform road preventative maintenance work and repair work to municipalities within the county. This program is cost neutral to the county, as we will charge back all costs associated with this program to the cities, while allowing the municipalities to save money for two main reasons. First, the cities will no longer have administrative costs associated with road maintenance and repair, and the other being that the county will receive lower costs due to us buying in bulk countywide. Under this program, cities have the option to join in the program or continue to provide these services on their own. I urge my colleagues to support this ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
This program will also help municipalities save money by doing preventive maintenance on a set schedule, which will enable the roads to go a longer length of time between major resurfacing projects, and the potential for savings is quite significant.
All right, thank you.
And I'd like my name added as well.
So would I.
My name.
Simon, Ms. Conwell, Mr. Jones, Mr. Germana.
Rogers.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, are there any miscellaneous committee reports? Any miscellaneous committee reports?
Madam President.
Yeah.
Council Operations and Intergovernmental Relations will meet on, I'll give you the April schedule. On April 1st, Ms. Teowen will be presenting on behalf of Public Works and collaborative efforts her department is offering to municipalities. On the 22nd, we will have our discussion on the public records request, and the archivist, Dr. Satina, will be present, as well as our clerk and a representative from the law department. And on April 29th, the Inspector General will be presenting her semi-annual report.
Madam President and my colleagues, I can't top that. That's 3 meetings. But the Finance and Budgeting Committee, along with the Health and Human Services Committee, will meet this coming Monday, the 1st, at our usual time for the Finance and Budgeting Committee, which is 1 o'clock. The major item for discussion is the update to the Health and Human Services budget. Thank you.
Anything further?
Yes.
Come on.
Madam Chair, the Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee will meet April 2nd at 10 o'clock, and we're going to address the new items that were referred to the committee. There are 2 outstanding ordinances. The one, changes to the Policies and Procedures Manual, won't be heard until April 16th, won't be continued until April 16th in committee due to the Human Resource Director on vacation. And then there's still the outstanding ordinance involving deletion of classifications, and they were pulled by the administration, and so I do not know when that will be rescheduled.
Anything further?
No.
Public Works won't meet tomorrow, but we will meet the following Wednesday, April 3rd, to deal with the items referred today.
Rogers?
The Education and Environment Committee will meet on April 2nd, which is a Tuesday instead of our normal Wednesday meeting at 3 o'clock to discuss the College Savings Account Program.
All right, any other miscellaneous business?
Madam President?
Yes.
In regards to the Health and Human Services budget update, I would just like to bring to public attention that we have developed a proposed substitute version, and the direction is that we would follow the plan that was originally proposed by the executive, except that the reductions for the homeless, programs for the help for upgrading the quality of daycare centers, for some of the children's services, and for the senior staff reductions would not be included in the budget resolution at this time. However, that doesn't mean that some of those savings still might be achieved depending on operating conditions during the year, and 90% of the proposed changes that were originally proposed would be approved, and so that's what's being suggested. And if anybody wants to see a copy of the proposed substitute, they can contact Trevor Mackler and our staff, and he can provide that. Thank you.
All right, any other miscellaneous business or any public comment unrelated to the agenda? I will note that our next special meeting will be on April the 3rd. We'll be dealing with some property issues. On our regular meeting will be on April the 9th, where we'll have a work session at 3 and a regular meeting at 5. And then we have one matter for executive session. All meetings of the Cuyahoga County Council are open to the public under the Ohio Opens Meeting Law. Under that law, council may go into executive session during the meeting for specifically authorized purposes. During executive session, council confers outside the hearing of the public. Council may not make any decisions about any matters in executive session. All decisions are made in public. This evening, council will go into executive session to discuss the matter involving collective bargaining. During this time, our live stream will be down, and we will ask all those not specifically needed for the executive session to leave council chambers. Anyone may re-enter the meeting once the executive session is ended. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of collective bargaining? Moved by Mr. Gallagher, seconded by Mr. Germana. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Moving to executive session, Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
And Ms. Conley?